Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ha, Rakah Kodash, Ma'ama. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my elder as well, Aharawan, Banyasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. And salutations to the fellow Akim, Atwafium, and children, Banyam that believe in truth and sincerity. It's your brother Athanya Allah back to you with another lesson, and Yahara Tazah is edifying. And I just wanted to touch a topic pertaining to what Trump had said at the World Economic Forum pertaining to addressing these other nations, pertaining to his tariffs and basically the sanctions and taxes he's going to put on these other nations. All right, kind of calling for help, basically trying to bring these nations and these corporations, all right, back to America. The same corporations that they allowed to leave America. But here it is.
Among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff, differing amounts, but a tariff which will direct hundreds of billions of dollars and even trillions of dollars into our treasury to strengthen our economy and pay down debt.
DW correspondent Ben Fazulin is in Davos.
So, it's going to be mixed feelings about that, all right? One of the first scriptures I wanted to get is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, and I wanted to start at verse 40 just to get a point, all right? Because this is pretty much where we at pertaining to the spiritual weather, the spiritual climate. And this is Daniel chapter 2 and verse 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things. All right, and it's speaking on the ancient Roman Empire. All right, ultimately where America get its template from. It's an extension of the ancient Roman Empire being revamped through the Treaty of Rome. All right, again, the beast that was wounded, that was healed. All right, to continue on for a little season. All right, but that healing, all right, it's not going to be healed in these times. All right, so the Lord is getting ready to take this devil's kingdom at the feet. And that's what you see going on through politics. All right, Trump trying to instill and make America great again and bring these corporations back to America when that's long gone. Even when it comes to the 70s and the Nixon shock and making the petrodollar, all right, the American dollar, taking it off the gold standard, all right, really is not being backed by money, all right, it's just a promissory note where real money is gold and silver, all right. So this place has accumulated a lot of debt. According to Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 7, he has laddered himself with thick clay going into debt, when you go into the etymology of that word. But just going back in Daniel chapter 2 and verse 40 from the top, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, all right, the ancient Roman Empire, as it took the iron, all right, from again the Greek empire, all right, they took the template from that, all right, which is the same people, all right, the Edomites, whether they're the Greeks, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, they're all Edomites from the Caucasus Mountains of geographically Georgia, Russia. But it says, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. And that's what it did. It conquered. All right. America today has military bases throughout the four corners of the earth, not being wanted in certain land masses and places. Even in South Africa in the years back, they were kicking them out. And now you have the BRICS alliance, all right, pertaining to Ezekiel 38, to where these nations have made a pact to do business with each other. All right, the hell with America. They don't want to deal with you as you deal treacherously. And they became mad, all right, the scriptures we're going to go into, all right, ultimately becoming foolish for dealing with America. So they're going to take a part of America's plagues as well. This is Daniel chapter 2 and verse 41. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes part of potter's clay and part iron, right, so partly strong, all right, and partly weak, The Lord is making this place vulnerable. I believe it's in the book of Nahum on how he's lifting up the skirt of this devil, exposing them on all fronts, ultimately making them vulnerable, weak, because he's going to take them out. All right. Ultimately by way of his son, Yahweh Shai, to establish his son's kingdom, to establish his kingdom. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, to establish his kingdom. All right. As well as to establish the elect. But this is Daniel 2:41. The kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron. For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. Right. So it's partly strong and partly divided. And we know, according to the scriptures, a kingdom divided shall not stand. This is verse 42. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Right? It's not going to work, because this is the time of the Lord's vengeance, the Lord's judgment upon America. All right, to where he's going to pour his righteous indignation. All right, because what? This place has been wong-tom. All right, according to Psalms 49:11, the inward thought is that the houses is going to continue forever. And that's not so. All right, the Lord is going to cut them off. This is the book of Daniel chapter 2 and verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai of heaven, set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. Right? And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever, man. That's Yahweh Shai's kingdom. All right, it's going to stand forever. It's going to be established, okay, through the loins of the elect and through Yahweh Shai, all right? Pardon me. Huh? Yeah, you coming out this way, right? You finna be short term? I'll walk with you. But we want to work together. Salaki. All right, but we was at Daniel chapter 2 and verse 44. All right, but from there, I want to get Daniel chapter 7 right quick. And I'll start at verse 12. All right, because he said he's going to establish his kingdom, and what's written is already done in the heavens, and ultimately it got to trickle down into this lesser, which is this realm, the third dimension. But this is Daniel 7 and verse 12. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away. Right. So these other kingdoms, these past kingdoms, all right, the Babylonian Empire, the Assyria, the Babylonian Empire, all right, the Persian and the Medes, you know, the Greek Empire, even the ancient Roman Empire, they all fell. All right. But here today, it's the ancient Roman Empire being revamped. All right. It's going to fall too. Verse 13. Salakia. It says their dominion was taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season in time. Right. Again, that them being loose for a little season. I believe that's Revelations 20. All right, 20 and 7. And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. All right, 1,000 years speaking on the Byzantine Empire where Esau was shut up, like the times of King David. All right, showing the Lord can he can do what he want. All right, he can kill and maketh alive. You know, he ruleth in the kingdom of men, according to Daniel chapter 4 and verse 17. But it's back in Daniel chapter 7 and verse 13. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, right? Those ships, all right, those chariots, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him, and there was given him dominion ultimately the Lord being risen up. All right. He's been exalted on the right hand side of the Father. So he's making intercessions, man. Ultimately, these kingdoms, all right, go be subdued up under his feet. It's verse 13. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, Yahweh, and they brought him near before him. Verse 14, and there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, man. Right. So it's established, man. It's already written, and that's what ultimately got to play out in this lesson. All right. So him trying to make Babylon, all right, this revamped Roman Empire, great again, is going to be his downfall. It shows where we at pertaining to Nebuchadnezzar's dream of the statue and of these 4 beasts, which represent those 4 kingdoms, and how they fell. And ultimately, this is going to have the same judgment as far as history. As they say, history repeats itself. Well, it's his story. All right. And that his being Yahweh Shai, pertaining to Hebrews 11 verse 6, in order to know that he is, roughly paraphrasing, to worship him, you got to know that he is. All right. And the things that he said and that's written is written, all right, in stone. It's concrete, and he's not a father to lie. And it's Jeremiah 51 and verse 7, pertaining to what he's going to do to these nations, what he's going to do to the wicked. All right. 2/3 of our people. This is Jeremiah 51 and verse 7. I'll start at verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon to deliver every man his soul, be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense, right? A judgment. Babylon have been the golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken, right? And he's still trying to do it today. He's trying to pass that cup out again. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad, man, right? They're foolish. All right. But they have woken up, some of these nations, and they have made an alliance and a pact within themselves pertaining to Ezekiel 38. All right. Under the protection of Gog and Magog, which is Russia. All right. So these are the Lord's doings. These are the Lord's plans. This is the Lord agenda. And this is Jeremiah 51:8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. Right. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto the heavens and is lifted up even to the skies, man. So this ain't the time to bring back their corporations to America. There'll be a fool to believe in America the second time around. All right, to be drunk and mad again, to be foolish again. All right, with the sorcery and the witchcraft of these Jesuits. All right, and that's not even their plan ultimately. So Trump is pretty much, the smoke screen. This is Revelation chapter 14 and verse. This is Revelation chapter 14 and verse. I'll start at verse 8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Right, that demonocracy. That's what we call it. They call it democracy, but it's demonocracy, you know. And that's how they got these nations to buy into their NWO, their new, you know, their sinister plan. All right, as well as, you know, the Lord giving them that might, that military might, all right, to drop the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in the time of World War II. Again, being the spokesperson for NATO around that time as well. You know, ultimately for them to be set up on high, for the Lord to bring them down low, all right, for them to go into perdition. This is Revelations chapter 18, and I'll start at verse 1. And Yahweh Ratazah, this lesson was edifying. This is Revelation chapter 18 and verse 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hole of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Right, you know, and this is ultimately what's here today. All right, the wicked is more, is, you know, but it's gonna be wiped off the face of the earth, and you know, this place is gonna be made a lake of fire, to where whatever's the only thing that's gonna inhabit this land is nocturnal animals, right? Like our elder goes into, you know, it's creepy things, so to speak. All right. This verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Right. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Right. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua have remembered her iniquities. Right. You know, so this is a judgment set here. You know, so it would behoove these nations not to come back, you know, these corporations, Salakia, which is dealing with these other nations, right? You know, because we go to these other nations for the one of all things. All right. But when you talk about these elites, you know, these elites and oligarchs, you know, these people who run things, they're of the heathen. This verse 6, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, and the cup which she hath filled to her double. Right. How much she hath glorified herself. Right. And it's speaking on the whore, Babylon, that sit upon that scarlet colored beast. All right. Representing the 7 heads and 10 horns, the NATO and the EU. Again, that revamped Roman Empire infrastructure. All right. Which he even said, which is Europe. What he said, bring your businesses and your you know, your businesses back to America, which is your prerogative. You know, but you know, so is the mother, so is the daughter. All right. It's that little horn. But it says, Revelations 18 and verse 7, how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Right, that's lines up with Psalms 49 and 11. They think that their inward thoughts is that their houses go continue forever. So he has the mindset of building America up again as it once was, but it's never going to go back to that time. All right, it's not that time. All right, again, it's time for the Lord to take this kingdom at the feet. All right, whereas partly is divided. All right, kingdom divided shall not stand. And this is verse 9. Salakia, verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, who judgeth her. You know, that's when the Lord denuclearized the earth, right? They're going to have 1 hour. This place is going to be destroyed according to prophecy. All thus saith the Lord. In this verse 9, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Right? Those who do bring their corporations back over here, you know, and just period. Even if they don't, they're going to still be in awe of the Lord's judgment, because they're going to think it's going to come upon them. All right. And ultimately, they're not going to be able to, you know, have America as its consumers to be rich and sit on the throne and have a kingdom as they think they're going to do. All right. By way of China or whatever the case may be. With the New World Order, the Lord is going to make it rain upon him while he's eating, roughly paraphrasing. And this is what we know. You know, the Lord promises that. And again, what's written is ultimately going to play out. This is Jeremiah chapter 49, and I'll start at verse 12. For thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup, right, the Israelites, have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Right, so this devil go unpunished. According to Revelations 13, verse 9 and 10, those who leadeth in captivity is ultimately going to go into captivity. Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, saith the Lord, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual wastes. Right, and Basra was a city in Edom. All right, ultimately representing Edom. I don't believe it was the capital, but it's represent Edom. All right, this place is modern day Basra, modern day Nineveh, and modern day Egypt, modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, modern day Babylon, mystery Babylon. All right, the modern day Roman Empire, revamped Roman Empire. All right. This is verse 14. Well, that's the point. You know, they who judgment, who is not the drink of the cup, which is the Lord's people. You know, we went through that slavery. We went through that cup of trembling. So ultimately that cup has to be poured upon these other nations. All right. You know, we wasn't even supposed to go and drink of that cup because we're his peculiar treasure. But for us disobeying him, all right, he put us in the hands of these heathen nations. All right, and made ultimately Esau his sword, to where when the Lord bring that judgment upon these heathen nations, and the ambassador of the heathen being Esau Edom, it's going to be righteous indignation. It's going to be righteous judgment. All right, because it was done to his own people, to the apple of his eye. It's Jeremiah 30 and verse 8. And Yahweh says, this lesson was edifying. All right. Because we got to go through this Jacob's trouble. We got to go and see this economy be broken down. All right. And take the hardships of it. All right. Because we get our daily bread, and we have to get by in this captivity until Shiloh come. All right. But this is our way out through these trials and tribulations that the Lord is going to bring upon this nation. All right. So that's why it says in the scriptures, you know, in Jeremiah 51, in verse 6, you know, flee from the midst of Babylon, not physically, but spiritually, mentally, having your eye single to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, learning of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Psalms 2 and 11, kiss the son lest he be angry, or you perish from the way, pertaining to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, and those of the speckled bird who may look like the other nations. All right, but bear the same spirit as such. All right, the Cambodians, these Filipinos, so on and so forth. All right, a lot of them are Israelites. A lot of our people look like the other nations due to the mixing and mingling of the past captivities. All right, the past beasts, kingdoms. But this is the Jeremiah 30 and verse 8. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. So the Lord got to break them down. He's breaking them down right before our eyes. All right. He's asking for help. Even in the World Economic Forum where Trump was speaking, he was speaking on how They got so much oil. All right, well, just Biden was just over there in whatever, Saudi Arabia, begging for it when he was in a couple years ago. All right, so again, Trump is a smokescreen in itself. All right, he's their great white hope. All right, but he's no hope. There's no hope in him. All right, there's only hope in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and for those who believe in him and worship them. All right, and his people. This is verse 9. But they shall serve the Lord their power, right? Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. All right. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, whether I have scattered thee. Yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure. And that's what he's doing, and that's what he's done. And will not leave thee altogether unpunished. Right, because he's faithful and true. All right, when it comes to his judgments as well as his salvation. So you have a choice. All right, but again, death will be chosen rather than life, pertaining to 2/3 of our people. But the Lord is doing great work. All right, this devil is falling like lightning quick. All right, so again, we at the feet of it. We're here. Shalom, Habatah, and DTA until the next one.